selected as an Eastern Conference All-Star for the second time from your Toronto Raptors, DeMar DeRozan! Playing in his second consecutive All-Star game for the East and representing the Toronto Raptors, Kyle Lowry!
He's got to be able to. Let's go here. He's just serious.
The way they complement each other, you know, they're two great players. The 1-2 punch for the Raptors, and you know, them guys, you know, play hard and love each other. You can tell that they're you know, glued to that team.
Their ability to do different things. DeMar is a versatile wing who can, you know, score in pick and roll, score in ISO situations, and get to the free throw line. Then you look at Kyle. He's a guy who can hit threes. He can score off the bounce. You know, he's like a pit bull. I think they got a really good team, and I think they can do some serious damage in there.
Oh, you gotta go live, right? Go live.
Which All-Star event are you most looking forward to? Kyle Lowry in three-point contest. Best dressed All-Star, most likely Kyle Lowry. Snapchat, what's happening?
NBA All-Star 2016, Toronto. Me and the boy Debo.
6 hours.
Oh my God. I've known Kyle since he was in the Memphis days, so you know, to kind of see him grow as a player and continue to develop his game, like it's cool to see like young players grow and aspire. Like one day I want to be an All-Star, and you know, to be able to kind of say it and put it into motion.
Nice.
What's up, brother? How are you? That's good.
Oh, very impressed, man. DeMar's a guy that you know, that kind of flies underneath the radar from time to time, but he's a guy that continues to get better, works on his game, continues to manage to be successful at the high level.
Yeah, I've known DeMar since middle school, you know, so we're from the same area. You know, he continues to work hard. He works hard and he works on his game. You know, I think, you know, that right there is a sign of improvement. He always wants to get better. You know, and then Kyle, obviously, he goes and get it. You know, he's aggressive. So those two complement each other. That's what makes them very good as a team.
Ain't nothing but a party going on in here.
Yeah, honestly, just hearing about Giants of Africa and having the opportunity, I mean, when it was presented to us, hey, come out and support. I think for me and just being in the NBA, WNBA family, you know, just always trying to support those that are doing great things. And I know the film is going to be wonderful. I'm really looking forward to seeing it.
I'm extremely excited because obviously this has been a long time in the making. And I was fortunate enough to be in Nairobi and Kigali this past summer with the entire Giants of Africa team, you know, and the tremendous work they do.
You know, I've actually heard some people that saw a preview of it and said it was very emotional and it was very well done, and I'm excited. I'm excited to see it.
It's mixed emotions because I'm relieved that we're here. You know, it's been really, I was looking back, it's been 6 months of, you know, just really at it to get to this point. And so I'm really excited to share it. Really, not that many people have seen it, only really a handful. So it's kind of like this is a kind of big coming out.
You know what? I just have a platform, and I have to use the platform. It's an obligation. I have to. I have to be responsible to my continent and the youth of the world, because we have to make a difference. We have to. There's no other option.
It's super exciting to be here tonight. First of all, it's All-Star Weekend, the Raptors are on fire going into the break. And it's a really huge weekend for basketball. To be able to do this, I just finished saying, to tell stories about basketball globally, but in our own hometown, is a huge honor. And I think this is going to be a great weekend. This is a good way to kick it off.
I'm excited to have All-Star here. I think that's like, watching as a kid, growing up, watching an All-Star weekend, watching dunk contests, three-point contests, like, it's just amazing that it's here.
I appreciate you guys sitting down and being patient. I know it's a big party afterwards, so drinking and eating, and it's All-Star, baby, All-Star in Toronto.
All-Star Weekend is about positivity and fun, man. We get a time to let the players actually relax, let their hair down, have a good time, but more importantly, show the fans how much they appreciate them and love them. I think that's the best thing about the event. That's what makes it special. So this is a time for them to go and give back and show that love that they receive on a constant basis back.
You have everyone from the new players, the new All-Stars, the former All-Stars, the former players, the commissioner, everything all in one is here this whole weekend. So it's a big time event where everyone get a chance to mingle and do all those things. So it's a good time, it's a great time.
I'm here all weekend, so I'll be soaking up everything. I'll be going to the competition tournament. I think that'll be really cool because I've never seen that. I went to the All-Star game last year, but just the actual game, so I think that'll be cool Saturday night.
I'm looking forward to a couple parties tonight, so yeah. Oh my God, there's it's gonna be, I need a schedule just for tonight.
I'm just happy to see a lot of the entertainers that I get to play with. Kobe. It's all about Kobe, this weekend, so I need to find my man.
Just be able to, share the court with 2-4 one more time, and after that, just getting back to reality and stepping back on the floor with your team.
How would you like?
I love Toronto. Beautiful city. The people here are great, great fans. The people are really nice here. Very nice, very diverse. So just being a part of it, I think Toronto is a very unique city.
When you do go to places, the one thing that you can only hope for is positivity. Toronto's full of it. That's why I continue to come back.
I've always been very, very fond of Toronto. I don't like the cold weather, but outside of that, Toronto is an absolutely fabulous city.
My wife and I were just looking forward to coming back to Toronto. And she hadn't been here in many years, so just the All-Star game, the festivities, a lot of the guys, the former players are my friends. So we just have a good time up here.
For the world to kind of come and see our city for the weekend, I think it's really awesome.
For me, I think I'm just happy that this city will be celebrated this weekend. After this city won't be a secret anymore.
What's up, dog? What's up, brother? What's up, baby? How you? Good? Yeah, I'm good. You coaching? Or you just chilling? I'm coaching a little bit for the kids, man. You said for the kids? Little celebrity game. I'm helping coach on the Canada side. I think we got a good chance. I'm gonna help my man Drake coach a little bit, try to get a win. Keep going well, brother. I'm trying to dress like you, dog. That's cool?
The top part, but you had to ruin it with the boots on.
I don't want...
You still got to have some Compton in you, don't you?
I got you.
You still got to have some Compton.
You got to let me go halfway, though.
See, you still got to have some Compton. You got the jeans.
I ain't got no belt on either. How you doing? Nice people. Good. Everything good. Trying, man. Try to keep it going. Try to keep it going, man. That's about it, man. Feeling good, healthy? Yeah, I'm healthy. I'm glad we got a break though, because everybody started hitting that little wall. Get us a little break and try to finish off strong before the playoff. That's about it.
I mean, it's amazing to have an event this large here in Canada, and especially to see some Raptors players like Kyle and like DeMar playing in it.
There's 2 All-Stars on one team, and with Vince winning the dunk contest, with Damon and I starting this thing, the organization continued to go up.
Vince, he started up something great here, and
I mean, I think Kyle and DeMar, following up great. I mean, Canada's on the rise, so it's definitely a great look.
The success of DeMar and Kyle and, those guys and the success that their team is having helps with that tremendously. The success that Drake is having helps with that tremendously. It's viewed as a completely different than what it was.
I'm a big fan of Drake. Love his music. I'm excited to see one of the, my favorite rappers be in his city and, see what he got planned for us.
Before he was the global ambassador, he was right there standing up in his seats cheering for the Raptors. And now he's an official ambassador, and so people know him in all those different ways. And he inspires people. He's a Toronto boy. He's not a boy anymore, but he's a Toronto-born guy who's become the most famous Torontonian in the world. And to have him as the global ambassador for our basketball team doesn't get better than that. And I think it inspires kids. It allows them to identify with the game and with the team, and all of that is good.
This is the NBA. I mean, basketball and hip-hop are aligned with one another, and rap and music. They are conjoined at the hip. And this is a great, diverse city that represents really the NBA. You look at all the great young players that are coming out of here now. I think it's a perfect match.
We are very lucky to have the NBA All-Star Game here this weekend, but I also believe that the NBA All-Star Game is lucky to have Toronto this weekend, and I think that's what we'll realize as our city matures, is not only are we grateful to have these great opportunities, but the great opportunities that come here benefit from being in Toronto, and I hope the people who come here see that, realize that if that is the case, we're successful.
This time is the perfect time for things to happen in Toronto. Like you said, the newer players, they're coming out, they're making such an impact on basketball, not just the NBA, but basketball globally. The former players, the current players, the organization is doing a tremendous job as far as being stable and stability there, and I think that's the biggest thing. And we're creating tradition. You have great players amongst the team, you have 2 All-Stars, so it's something where the eyes are on Toronto, and it's a perfect opportunity, perfect platform to showcase, and they're doing a great job.
Just seeing how much the Raptors affected me growing up and thinking back to how much I loved basketball as a kid, I couldn't imagine having All-Star Weekend in Toronto when I was a kid. I would have freaked out. I would have lost it. I would have been here for every single event. I would have done everything I could to be a part of it. And so I hope kids who are 8, 9, 10, 11 years old take this opportunity and run with it, because it's not every year that you get to have the All-Star Game here, and hopefully seeing the best athletes in the world can inspire more kids to pick up a basketball and play.
It's still special for me year in and year out. I mean, it's crazy that the number of appearances are, in the double digits. That's like something I would have never imagined, and that's something I'm very proud of. To be back here in Toronto, it's like, it's kind of crazy. It was a huge goal for me coming into this season. I wanted to make sure, I wanted it pretty bad. and like I said before, it was the first one here. Outside the United States, I wanted to be a part of that. Me having, a connection with this city, I wanted to have that for my own personal reasons, just to be able to tell my kids or tell a story or just say, yeah, I accomplished that too.
How difficult is it that you'll be out with tomorrow's game, but you'll be able to support as well? I mean, I'm always glad to be here. It's going to be tough, but, another deserving guy gets a shot. I always just love participating, no matter what the circumstance. So I'll be there tomorrow, cheering the East on and just having a good time. And congratulations, Chris. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, make some noise from the Miami Heat, Chris Bosh.
Chris Bosh has done a lot for this organization, a lot for this city. Been involved with some great moments in Toronto basketball history. He's a big part of it. And Hall of Fame player. I love him. I love Chris. I love what he stands for, how he handles himself, and it's unfortunate that he can't play tonight, but I know he's going to soak in the moment, being around his teammates, his friends, some of the guys that came into the NBA with him, D-Wade. And even though he's injured, I know he wouldn't miss this night because it's an important night for him.
It's great for him to come back. Hopefully he's well received. He's given a lot to this city, given a lot to this country, and he's one of those reasons for the young success also. Chris Bosh has come up and, he's a great player. And just from him and his health issues last year, getting back in top form and coming back to Toronto, it's a great thing for my young fella.
I saw Mo, I think, last year, and I didn't know he was working for TSN. And I was like, yo, what are you doing? He's like, man, I'm working. And it's just been crazy because, they knew me when I was, of course, a rook and a young fella and everything. And now I'm at a different place in my career, and I've been doing this for a little bit of time now, and they've moved on. They're family men, and they have their own lives outside of basketball now, and it's just moved on, and it's just crazy to watch. I mean, it's getting closer and closer for me too.
I talked to Chris. He enjoying just being back in Toronto, where it all started for him. To see how far it came, see how far I came from playing with him my rookie year. So he definitely enjoying it.
It's kind of weird in a sense that I'm a totally different person, and just kind of going by at old spots and reflecting and just kind of thinking about different things. I have children now, and I try to tell them little stories and things like that, but it's just a trip. I mean, this was one of my goals after last season to actually accomplish this, and it hasn't been easy, but it's kind of, poetic a little bit for me to kind of be here to see it here for the first time, because we talked about it, but it was like, nah, what if All-Star was here? Nah, but it's actually here, so it's cool. It's so great just to, fans have hung in there so long. They deserve to really just be this excited. It's really funny. I mean, just, of course, DeMar, he's talented. We all know that. Kyle's talented. And, to have 2 All-Stars is great. But just to have a really good team, if not a great team here in Toronto, is good for the fans. And it's funny because I think it was the year before last, everybody was really paying attention to the, the whole playoff thing. And like, man, look at this. Like, yeah, it's been like that. You just never knew. And for the city to finally, get its just due nationally in the United States is pretty cool.
First time NBA All-Star here in Toronto, Canada, man. This is an exciting time for sure.
I wish I would have could experienced it more, for sure. And that's after my first playoff experience with the team. I'm like, yo, we have to do this every year, but we just, for whatever reason, we just couldn't put it together. And now for these guys to be able to experience that, it's fantastic. And I know, especially with the good team that they have, they're really, really looking forward to it this year. So, they deserve it. DeMar, Kyle, they both deserve it. They're putting this city on the map, and they're doing a great job.
A lot of the times you got to look at the Eastern Conference to see who you're looking at besides Cleveland, and Toronto is that team this year. It was Chicago for so many years before with the Heat, but right now I really feel with Lowry stepping into his own, he's been a fantasy basketball gem for years, but for him to finally step into his own, DeMar DeRozan, we went to same college, SC, LA dude, so I got my feel for him. I'm loving it. I'm loving the Raptors.
That looks good too.
It's definitely the most excited I've been about the Raptors since I've lived in Canada. I think it's a great team. Lowry is just a beast. They have the competitive spirit.
Really, people are not this high maintenance. It's just all-star.
He's this high maintenance.
I think that Lowry is one of the best guards in the league, and I think DeRozan has had a steady climb for a very long time. I think that if you compare the better duos of 1 and 2s in the league, Lillard and CJ are up there. Obviously, you have Golden State, and I think that the Raptors are right there. They're a fantastic team to watch. I actually really like watching them. I like their offense, and I like when they play the Blazers because we always have a good run-and-gun game.
To where these guys are today is phenomenal. They're playing great basketball. To me, they're right there with Cleveland as the best team in the Eastern Conference. And, Masai just been doing a phenomenal job since he stepped foot in the door.
I think that they have a good shot at playing Cleveland in the Eastern Conference Finals. I think they play Cleveland very well, actually. It depends on, the cohesiveness of the Cavs at that point, at that time. Cleveland's a lot more experienced. So it'd be a tough series to win, but I think, at the very least, I think they can get to that point.
Hi, Cam.
Say good luck.
Hi, Cam.
Have fun.
Hi, Cam. Hi, Cam. Hi, Cam. All right. Hi, Cam.
Have fun. See you later.
For one, you got to have some experience. You got to have some of those sputters. You got to have some heartbreak. And you got to. It's just a process that you have to go through. And you have to remember it the next time you're in that situation. And they have the pieces in place. They got a very good coach who's done a terrific job. They got a great leader in Kyle Lowry. They got another all-star in DeMar. I mean, they have the pieces that are necessary to become a great team.
Hey, happy all-star. Hey, been it black?
You got black on?
No, burger.
Well, and then last year in particular, I think was really disappointing, obviously. A lot more expectations for the team, and it didn't happen. Right now, like we were talking about it off camera, and that's the team that a lot of us would expect to see there at this point. Obviously, you're 3 games behind Cleveland right now. And who knows? Who knows what Chicago's going to, who knows what anybody else is going to do? But we all expect it to be against Cleveland. So fine, doesn't matter, right? If it's you two in the conference finals, I think it's a win-win for everybody. I'd love to see it. I like how you're built. I like you at the top as well, and I think it starts at the top. So fingers crossed that we're back in May.
Well, first of all, I don't know what they can do to get better than Cleveland. I think they're right there in terms of being the second best team in the Eastern Conference. I think Dwayne Casey has done a fabulous job as the coach. I think Kyle Lowry has done a fabulous job and very, very deserving of being an all-star. I like DeMar DeRozan a lot, and I see a lot of their guys. It's just for me, they just don't have enough to beat Cleveland. So to me, the hope is a berth in the Eastern Conference Final. The expectation should absolutely be a berth beyond the first round for a change. But I can't see them going to the NBA Finals because I don't see them beating the Cleveland Cavaliers.
What's up, baby? Q, what up, baby?
Beat Cleveland. I mean, they're there. They don't have the superstar that Cleveland has with, LeBron, but the way they've been playing, 2 All-Stars, I mean, they're going to be there. And they're well coached. Front office is, second to none, and it's going to be fun. The fact that they had a little bump in the road, I guess, in the beginning, people really didn't take them seriously. But it's this second half of the year, they're definitely on everybody's radar.
Selected as an Eastern Conference All-Star for the second time from your Toronto Raptors, DeMar DeRozan! Playing in his second consecutive All-Star game for the East and representing